Welcome to Fanboy and a Snob. I'm Chad.
Yeah.
And that's Andrew, and we watched Ben-Hur.
Conquer the land. You may slaughter the people. That is not the end. We will rise again. The day Rome falls, there will be a shout of freedom such as the world has never heard before.
So we watched 1959's Ben-Hur, starring Charlton Heston,
Jack Hawkins, Stephen Boyd, Hugh Griffith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah.
You know,
I could put a face to a name.
because like there's Charlton Heston, Hugh Voight. You know, like
They all did a great job, though.
No,
The acting in this movie was fucking superb.
don't make movies like this anymore.
Nah. Actually felt dramatic, tense.
Interesting.
Mm.
There's no fucking gay scene where all the female characters get Thanos' glove and they play like volleyball with it or whatever that fucking scene was. There's nothing like that. There's no scene where all the Disney princesses save Wreck-It Ralph.
I think every single actress in that scene knew it was stupid.
I
Besides for Gwyneth
really,
Paltrow.
I would really hope so.
Yeah, Ben-Hur.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mastercraft in cinematography.
Took about almost 10 minutes for the movie to start.
6 minutes. The interlude at the beginning is 6 minutes. Well, no, not the interlude. What was the opening Find Your Seats thing called? Entende or something? I think it's Latin for entrance, which I think is Latin for opening, which I think is Latin in for beginning. Turns out our language is based in Latin.
Cool.
Overture.
Overture, yeah. And then the movie started 6 minutes in, and it was all about Jesus. That was kind of annoying because it's like Ben-Hur and Jesus.
Let me ask you a question. Why did we watch this movie? Why was this one of your picks?
One of my picks.
Because this is the last episode of Man Quest.
Oh yeah, we wanted to end Man Quest on a long, manly journey, and I feel like we picked the wrong path. I feel like Lawrence of Arabia is the superior man movie now that I have watched Ben-Hur, but that's not taking away from Ben-Hur's achievements in terms of writing, directing, sets, cinematography, costumes, music, makeup. Fucking everything about this movie is perfect.
Well,
It is probably one of the best movies ever made.
They don't make movies like this anymore
Nope.
where it's the long epic. You know what
With
I mean?
multiple characters and plots and threat. Now they would split this movie into 3 movies. You know what I mean? Like instead of making one 4-hour movie, they would make 3 2-hour movies, and we'd have The Hobbit. You know, it would just suck. It would just suck.
What'd you feel about this movie, Andrew?
I haven't seen this movie in a really, really long time. I will say I had a Blu-ray copy, and just the shots of the environment, just absolutely gorgeous. And the way this film cleaned up, I mean, just like, the shots over the desert, vast landscape, the palm trees, everything, just really, really well done.
The legions of extras. All
Yeah,
the
yeah.
costumes.
At the time it probably took to master this movie.
Not even master. Imagine filming it.
Well, filming it too, but editing it to make it look as nice as see. Like we were saying earlier, how long did that fucking chariot chase?
That was like the last 40 minutes in the movie. Was
Yeah,
just
but
the chariot.
how many days did it take them to film that?
Like, who has to Oh, we fucked up. Re-rake the fucking sand. You
Every
know?
time a horse sadly passes away, need a new horse.
It was 108.
How about the naval battle?
That was sweet with the miniatures.
No, so like I was saying cute. Like, give me. I was like hyperventilating. Bring up the naval battle again. I'm sorry, Andrew.
So how about that naval battle? I mean, like Chris is going to point out, they were miniatures, but I mean, think about the inside of the boat too.
The set, yeah,
the whole set, everything.
I kept like during the naval battle, I kept going, "Oh, it's so cute, but like, yo, fucking thousands of man hours went into
The
filming
amount of
that.
time it would take the miniature just to see all those rows, like rowing and everything, pals rowing, and then just the scenes of them trying to shoot those little.
Yeah, the little fuzzy fire thingies. And
It's
then,
just like,
what about the scene where Ben-Hur's trireme comes up and just like catches the oars of the other guy and then rams the boat next to it? And then the slave inside is like, "We're gonna get fucking rammed!"
I do love the scene when they're looking out the window and you see
And
the
you just see
ships
and
coming at them.
It's the point of the ship, and then the two fight. So it's like a beast, like a demonic beast, is coming right at them. It's so good.
But who is Ben-Hur?
Ben-Hur is the king of Judea, which is a Roman province at this time, one of the most uppity, if you will. Next to Egypt, yeah.
I said it was near Alexandria, right?
Nope, it's the Middle East. Alexandria is North Africa.
Oh my geographers.
So Rome's in the center, and they basically conquered a circle around them. So they go from Spain to like Iran to Germany to like the Congo. They have a circle. That's their empire. Biggest the world's ever seen, next to the Chinese, but who gives a fuck? Fuck the Han Dynasty. Rome would win every time. But yeah, so he starts in Judea because he's the king of Judea. His sister fucks up, so they all get imprisoned. Let's just speed through it, right? And then he winds up on.
Well, you gotta do this. Starts in Judea, then the Romans take over. So his
well,
buddy,
they had taken over already.
Yeah, and his buddy comes into town. What's he, the governor? Or whatever.
He is the tribune, which is like the underling to the governor.
And they have the whole conversation where Ben-Hur's like, "I'm not gonna
betray my people." Yeah.
And he's like,
even though they were childhood friends, he wasn't good.
That's very important. Is Marius? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
Saved Ben-Hur's life when they were boys out hunting. So it's like when they see each other, like you believe they're psyched as fuck when they see each other, when they play with the javelins and stuff. Like you're like, those are old school boys. And then when they actually argue, like the argument scene in Ben-Hur's estate, or his what do they call them? Villa, because that's what the Romans would call him. In Ben-Hur's villa, where he's like, I'm not gonna sell out my own people to you, and he's like, dude, you don't have a choice. You're in a Roman world, live like a Roman.
You either come with me and be my ally, or you will be my enemy.
It's either you're with me or you're against me. You know, Bush, 9/11, all that jazz. Yeah. Remember that famous speech he made in front of the UN where he told every country in the UN either you're with us or against us, basically declaring war on the world.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yeah, exactly. You brought that up, and I like, yeah. It was the tension between those two. Like their rivalry is probably one of the best. Like it makes sense. They're both just dudes trying to do what they think is right.
This movie would definitely be well, they did make a new Ben-Hur, but if they were going to make it proper, it would be a 2-movie thing.
Yeah.
So they would have to show them being friends, growing up, the saving moment.
Instead of just telling us, they would show us because you have to. We're so simple now. We need to be shown.
But I don't know. Those two, every scene they were in together was
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. The charisma, is that the right word?
Yes.
Between the two of them was just really, really good.
The chemistry, both characters.
Chemistry between it. That's what I really want.
Both characters had enough charisma on their own. Charlton Heston's character was always just like a look of disgust and confusion, and he was always like, but he was always that character where his buddy was always the angry, stern faced, being like, here's how it is, and then Charlton would be like, but what do you mean? And they had this great.
Well, this is the cool thing back in the day. Well, not the cool thing because it's better for actors now, but back in the day they used to be in the acting guild or whatever.
No, SAG is still real.
No, what was it
Screen
called?
Actors Guild.
No, not that. The Actors Association, where each studio would have certain actors. They would just throw actors into the movies and everything.
Wait, so you mean a picture deal?
Studio system of classic Hollywood, a business model adapted by 5 Hollywood studios: Paramount Pictures, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Warner Brothers Pictures, 20th Century Fox, and RKO, that combined all the facets of film production with studio-owned distribution chains.
But anyway, what the point I was trying to make is they have all those actors on the shelf, so they're like, all right, we're gonna make this movie. You specialize in this type of role. You want to be a Western person, a Roman
Oh
person?
yeah, this was back when you actors were just typecast. Nowadays, every actor is trying to be everything, and it's obvious. Like Kristen Stewart is not.
She's good.
No. She's very bad. She's fat bait, and she's not even good at being fat bait.
That movie Underwater, she was good in.
You actually watched that,
Yeah, it was a good movie.
and you didn't watch I Saw the Devil.
So I was waiting for you, and you watched it without me.
Yeah, because you were watching Underwater with Kristen Stewart. It's a loud one, eh? I never fart loud.
But Andrew, what do you think of the acting? Who was your favorite character?
Yeah, who was your... All right, yeah, let's do that. Who was your favorite character that wasn't Ben-Hur?
Ooh, that wasn't Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
You know who I actually really liked was his slave's the father of the girl that he liked, his slave. I thought he was like a very nice homely type character.
He was wise too. He was like very respectful.
Yeah, and not only that, he also I really love how he went to Ben-Hur's defense. Even though he was a slave, he went straight to Ben-Hur's defense, which I loved.
He was on his way to freedom, heard Ben-Hur got imprisoned, and turned right the fuck around. You know,
Fucked his whole life up.
Fucked his whole life up to just be like, you know, Ben-Hur. He's yelling at the face of the Roman guy, like, you guys were friends. You know he's innocent. And
what's
then
fucked up is dude goes on top and realizes, because originally they get in prison because the sister knocks off a
roof tile.
So they think they were trying to throw roof tiles at the governor. So at one point, the friend just goes up to the roof,
Marius
knocks one off, and he's like,
sees it, understands it, and decides, I'm going to use this to position myself. And now that's where he becomes my favorite character. Dude's playing the game. He gets it. He's lived in Rome. He gets how cutthroat and brutal it is. He went to his friend and went, dude, we can both rise to the top if you just fucking help me. We can be I can be second in line to Caesar, and you can be right there with me if we just play the game.
and sells people out.
And I respect Ben-Hur for that, but I also respect Marius for just being like, dude, like, this is reality. No matter what you do, nothing's gonna change. Because by the end of the movie, we're on the third emperor of Rome. We have another 500. You know what I mean? We got a couple hundred emperors to go.
I really like the captain or the main general?
The consul.
The consul on the ship.
His ship captain that had no faith in God and stuff.
Basically, he brings Ben-Hur in and he's like, just get off this boat and come with me and fight in the...
But be a charioteer. But that's after Ben-Hur saves him after the failed naval battle.
No, even then, they had the meeting where he's like...
Yeah, in the chambers.
But then
41 is what he was calling him.
Yeah. So, what's his name again? Or his title?
The consul.
The consul is pretty much like, you can do all this, or you can drown in the...
You can sink with the ship.
Yeah. Because they're all chained up and everything. So eventually, he...
Something clicks in his head, and he has him just get unchained, right?
It's because he tells him, my God is not... He wouldn't have let me live 3 years just to die here. And then he goes, I'm glad you have that much faith in your God, because I have no faith in any. Life has no purpose. It took my son. I don't give a shit. I'm here to die. So then when they're getting ready for the battle, he goes, you know what? Unchained 41. Maybe his God is, onto something.
So Arius, the consul of Rome, pretty much told the guards to not lock up Ben-Hur with the chains like everybody else is. He gave him the speech about, you can be chained up and sink with the ship, or you can come with me.
And Ben-Hur was like, my God wouldn't let me live 3 years as an oarman just to die now. Because he made that promise to Marius, I hope you stay alive long enough for me to come back, which is the best. Oh, no. I hope you live long enough for me to return. And then Marius's response is, turn? Which is like the best exchange in the movie, I think. Genuinely speaking, I think that was the best acting in the movie.
And it's pretty hilarious because Arius, they were doing like the drills.
Yeah, ramming speed. Or no, it was normal speed.
And ramming.
Battle speed.
Yeah.
And then ramming speed was.
So the whole time Arius is just watching Ben-Hur.
And Ben-Hur isn't
he's just
fucking flinching. He's fucking. Other guys are fucking passing out, but the way I see it is, Arius wasn't torturing him. He was being like, "That's the weak part of my engine. Get him the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Because like, come battle time, if your Orman,
Like it's a fucking shitty thing to do, but you need to get the fucking.
if your
loose
Ormans
ends.
suck, and it's like, hey, we're about to get rammed and we need to turn, and that one dude can't do it, we're all gonna die, which we saw in the movie. Like, as soon as they were about to get rammed, like half the Orman gave up, and it's like they probably could have fucking pivoted or something, but no.
Little tail whip.
Yeah, a little tail whip. That battle was sick. You know what I like?
But their ship sank.
Yeah. You know what I like about watching movies like this? Is because I can sit there and go, no, that's wrong. Or I can be like, anyway, so actually, I like being the fucking nerd during these movies.
Stop.
How much information did you learn watching this film?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Fuck you. I told you all about trireme combat. What happens after they ram them? The spike goes in and then the battle starts. And that part was sick. Where the Sardinian pirates, shirtless with like their scimitars for some reason. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would they have scimitars? That's a Middle Eastern one. That's what they have. Movies. Yeah. So a bunch of shirtless brown guys jump on the boat and start beating the shit out of the Romans. And you actually watch the Romans get their ass kicked, which is rare.
Then it cuts to Ben-Hur and was it Arius?
Arius gets knocked off the ship and Ben-Hur jumps to his rescue.
Yeah.
Because Ben-Hur was like, you unchained
Golden
me.
ticket.
Yeah, like, do unto others that you want done unto you, or whatever. Yeah.
And basically Ben-Hur dives into the ocean, rescues him wearing fucking 80 pounds of armor.
At least he had like a fucking copper breastplate. Like,
So they put him on like a piece of ship that's just floating, all Titanic style.
Yep. But
And he removes the armor too, which is an important point because if he kept that armor on, that they would not have been able to keep floating. Probably.
Yeah. And then Arius tries to kill himself.
A bunch of times.
So Ben-Hur,
Why won't you let me die?
Ben-Hur knocks him the fuck out by lightly tapping the back of his head with an iron chain.
This was a sweet spot.
No, you have to understand. The scene is literally him like.
It was more.
Yeah, it was so bad. Yeah, it's like that's how you would knock me out, like.
Yeah. But as they're floating there, way off into the distance, they see a ship.
And he goes, "What are the shape of the sails?" Because Romans have the square, Sardinians have the triangle, and then Arius says, "Hope it's the enemy. Then we both get what we want. I die in your freedom." And then he goes, "Square sail, Roman." And then Arius is like, God. So he takes the chains off Arius, right? And he
Flags him down.
And then they get brought aboard, and Arius is like, shit. And Drusus or whatever is like, dude, we fucking won, though.
And Arius is like, I'm glad I didn't kill myself because now I'm getting a promotion.
Now I get to be number 2. Fuck yeah. And he like high fives Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur high fives him.
He's like, yo, come with me to this shit. We're going to have fun.
Then it flash forwards to Ben-Hur getting adopted.
Yeah.
Which, like I was explaining, is a huge fucking deal in Roman society because you can be the biological son of the emperor, and the emperor can go, I like him better, and adopt that guy, and now that guy's in control of everything, and not you.
And he gets his sweet family ring.
Yo, he gets the badass, and he uses it as like a signet. Remember when he
Yeah.
punches into the wax? Like, yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Dude, that was such a big dick scene where he's talking to the guy.
Yeah.
He's
And
talking to his buddy, like
the dude who betrayed him.
Yeah. What would they talk about? Like, basically about, like, everything going on. And he's like,
Basically,
I'm
like,
your
where's-
equal.
Where's my sister? Where's my mother? And he's like, I don't have to report to you. And then he's like, you see this fucking ring? And then he's like, he goes, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, choking because how fucking awesome that scene was. Just the fact that he was like, Marcius or whatever was just like you're a fucking Jew, you're whatever, and he's like, no, Roman motherfucker. And he's like, I want, and then he fucking signs the release for his sister and mother, and he's like, what's up? And just throws it in his face and then flips his robes and walks out of the room. And the other guy just standing there like, fuck you,
You know the weirdest part of this movie, too? It's so long, but the pacing's weird.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I think so.
Uh,
The end sucks.
I think the third act kind of.
Once the chariot race is over, the movie's over.
Yeah.
Straight up. Once Ben gets his revenge and finds his family, that scene where he's hiding behind the rock and his mother and sister don't want him to see him, it should have ended with him in tears. Right there. That would have been tasteful, but then they have to go on the whole Jesus getting crucified bullshit.
I think it should have ended when Roman friend died.
When he gets trampled?
No, like when he's in the room talking
Yes, and then he goes. That's how Ben-Hur learns that his sister and mother are still alive.
I'm just saying, should have ended right there.
No, that's stupid. No, because you need to get him to go see his parents where he wants to meet them, but then being a man, he realizes it's better they think he's dead, and it's better he thinks he's dead.
I'm not opposed to how it ends, showing Jesus's crucifixion or all that, but I feel like there was a lot of fat that could have been cut out at the end there. They could have easily trimmed that down and not had it dragged out so long.
Yeah, because like maybe if they even cut out all the Jesus stuff at the end and just kept the leper subplot, but where like do a scene where Ben-Hur is trying to escort his mother and his sister through the city, and right in the background you see Jesus carrying the cross up the hill. That way when it rains.
Well, I do like the scene though of Ben-Hur giving Jesus the water though. That kind of full circle thing. I kind of don't want to remove that.
This is what I'm saying. It should have ended not seeing Jesus from the beginning, getting the cross, doing all that stuff. Just seeing Ben-Hur's first reaction of seeing him walk up.
No, but then we missed the water scene.
No, because he falls. They could make Ben-Hur see him for the first time.
Well, that's what I'm saying about the mother and the daughter being snuck through the city as lepers, and then they happen to cross the street when Jesus is there, rather than them going to see Jesus. And he trips and falls, and Ben-Hur recognizes him and helps him up and gives him water, and then it cuts to Jesus getting, or no, then it cuts to the rain, or stuff happens. Eventually, we get to the rain.
Yeah.
They get cured, and they're like, but how? And then they look to the distance and lightning strikes and you see Jesus crucified. Yeah. It'd be a little dark, but I mean, we watched a man die.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
Chariot.
But like, yeah, and also like the scene before they go into the city with his mother and sister, like that scene where they're back at the villa and they're on the stairs talking for a little bit, like I don't know. I felt like that could have easily either been cut out or shortened.
Yeah, I think those scenes with the mother and sister were the fact that the mother and sister were very big actors at the time, and they were like, I want my scene.
No. I'm talking about when Ben-Hur was talking with his girlfriend there.
Oh, yeah. All the scenes with the girlfriend were kind of bullshit.
Like when they're back at the villa and they're talking on the stairs at nighttime, and it's just kind of like,
even the one when they're in the pillow room early on in the movie.
They could have cut that character out, just made it that she was a friend.
No, well that's what she was, and then they didn't want Ben-Hur to be gay, so they're like, here's a woman he can fuck. Because like him and his buddy are kind of like in a modern context, gay, because they're two dudes who appreciate each other's company, therefore homosexual by modern standards. But back then, two dudes like getting drunk and throwing javelins, that was just how we hung out, you know?
How we hang out.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with her character. I just feel like a lot of the scenes with her are dragged out for a little too long.
But it's just, she was just pussy, you know? And they never fucked. So it was like, what's the point? Like, her dad was super important. Her dad's the one that gets captured and tortured.
Well, she was the connection between the mother and sister when he came back. That's all she was.
Yes, but you could have had
that was her purpose.
But you could have had the dad fill that role.
Yeah.
I'm just saying her character was just there for Ben-Hur to have a love interest. So people in the 50s wouldn't go, what is he, a fag? He's hanging out with a fucking another dude. They're fucking hanging out in a fucking half-naked room with a bunch of sweaty dudes. Remember that scene? But that's just how Romans hung out, bro.
Yeah. They give a fuck.
Rub each other down with oil, get massages, and then go beat the shit out of each other in the arena. It's like the most masculine thing in the world. God, I miss Rome.
Let's talk about that chariot race.
So cool.
So yeah, at this point though, with the chariot race, now we get another historical character, and that's Pontius Pilate. He starts to become kind of a main character
He
at this
becomes
point.
relevant. And I hate what they did to Pontius in this movie. It's just not historically correct. He wasn't like a kind of guy. He was just a career politician who got put in a corner and was like, either the people revolt or the emperor kills me. He was in that position. He's fucking.
Well, it's funny because I'm actually pulled up some of the stuff on him, and apparently, not long after, like I know this movie is technically fiction, even though it takes place around historic times.
37.
Wasn't he
Apparently, what?
Let him speak.
going.
Shut up.
No, all I was going to say was apparently he was removed from governor shortly after that whole thing because he screwed up and he killed a bunch of Samaritans, and he then was told to go back to Rome for the disgrace he was in, and he decided to commit suicide.
So basically, what happened was the Jews said, "Kill Jesus," so he killed Jesus, and then they went, "Kill some Romans," and he went, "Okay," and then Rome was like, "Fuck."
But I will say, Pontius Pilate, though he gave the action, he wasn't the fucking.
He got done dirty. He was like a Joe Biden, where the people behind the scenes were tugging the strings, and he just got the blame for it.
I think you get pressure.
Well, basically, if I remember my Catholic upbringing, he didn't really sentence Jesus to death. He wiped his hands clean of it and said, "Do whatever you want. I'm staying out of this."
Yeah,
like that song in Jesus Christ Superstar.
we should watch that.
We should. I love that movie. And
that opening guitar riff, so sick.
But no,
dude.
Pontius Pilate, he did just wash his hands. He was just like, I'm going to leave it to the people. The people were Jews because it was Judea, and they decided to crucify Jesus.
I think it was more of a fear thing. Them thinking the Romans would accept them and not be as mean to them if they killed Jesus.
No, because the whole movie, you don't know dick about Judea and Rome. The first ever on record case of mooning is a Jew mooning a Roman legionnaire in Judea. So the legionnaire chases the Jew, which scares the populace because there's a legionnaire chasing a guy. So other legionnaires join in the chase. It led to the death of about 10,000 people due to stampede because one guy mooed a legionnaire and he went, "Hey, fuck you!" And it just led to the legion chasing the populace and they just trampled each other to death.
Good story, man.
Also, Judea had a blacksmithing contract with the Roman legions, and they were purposely making shitty swords. So the Romans would send them back, and when they sent them back, the Jews would sharpen them and make them better. And then one night they had like a 5,000 man strong rebellion against the legion, but the legion, drunk and hungover, managed like 500 guys fought 5,000 from their fort. And it's just like, Jews, what are you doing, man? Even when you have the best plan in the world, you can't just fucking form tactics because they all ran away as soon as people started getting killed. I know a lot about Rome and Jews. I'm sorry, we watched a movie about a Jew and a Roman. Like, this is my bread and butter. This is what I know.
Well, Chad does bring up a point though, because the word of Jesus during this time period had spread so far and so fast.
Quickly, it was like the first meme, straight up, and I don't mean that ironically. It's seriously.
No, because didn't the word of Jesus make it to Rome, and didn't the emperor at the time wanted to know? I think he wanted to meet Jesus, right?
Tiberius. He didn't want to meet.
Supposedly, Pontius Pilate didn't hate Jesus.
Nobody hated Jesus except for the Jews, but nobody hated Jesus because all Jesus was saying, like, "Hey, what if we stopped killing each other?" And everyone's like, "Yeah." And what if we stopped stealing? And people were like, "Yeah, you're right." And he was like, "And what if money wasn't important?" And then the Jew, yeah. He was the first commie, straight up.
I do think it was more of a fear thing from the Jewish people about what the Romans would do. 'Cause they were just like pressuring him, being like, "What do you want to do with him? He's your person."
Well, no, the Romans were like, "Just be Romans." And the Jews were like, "No." And he was like, and then this guy was like, "Hey, how about we all just be nice?" And they were like, oh, "Shit, he might make peace between our two warring nations. Can't have that."
Yeah.
Which is, to be fair, they were enslaved by the Egyptians. They went to war with the Assyrians. The Jews are an ancient people, like at least 20 or 30,000 years old. Like their history goes back like way back to fucking Moses, you know, like, so like them being enslaved again, I can get why they're like, no, fuck this, you know, like fuck you, and fuck this guy saying we can get along, you know, I get it.
So overall, Andrew, would you recommend this movie?
100%.
Good answer, Andrew.
Fuck you, Andrew.
No, Chad, before we get to that though, because you're missing out a little bit there. So like the whole chariot race thing, first of all, we barely even covered that. How badass was the chariot race?
So badass.
How many horses passed away?
It was 186 died during the filming, and I believe 150 died during the chariot scene.
The thing with horses too is I remember reading about this. Like if a horse gets spooked, it's almost impossible to get them like not to be spooked, and you pretty much have to put a bullet in their head at that point.
Yeah.
So how much you want to bet a couple of those were because of that? Something happened.
I was going to say the majority of them are probably broken leg euthanasia.
Yeah.
What are you going to do, horse broke? Because we saw, remember I was like, dude, look how fucking tight that turn it. You know, like there's a lot of scenes where horses were like, you could watch their ankle snap and you're like, oh, Christ.
I didn't enjoy the scene where the guy got run over by the chariots.
The real one?
He was probably the one that died.
The real guy where his spine bent the wrong way and you're like, ooh, yep, you're dead.
Yeah, but still it was awesome. And you know what I love too also with that is you could tell it wasn't green screen. Like the shots of them when you see like the two chariots in front of you, you can see they're actually out there riding the freaking chariots.
The sweat was real. Like the sweat. Charlton Heston had to learn how to drive a chariot, or not drive, but put it in a straight line.
Yeah,
which is probably insane when you're trying to. That was 4 horsepower in the real sense.
it's surprising. This movie was made in '59, but the cinematography in that scene, like how they showed the racing and everything, was pretty great. Though
I hate that you just said that.
Why?
Because all movies from that time period are shot that well. Because they didn't have a computer.
Yeah.
Like, that's what. I can go on a whole long-winded rant about how people are like, dude, I can't believe Citizen Kane was shot well. And it's like, that's all it had going for it was good camera work. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it had.
I'm saying for the sets they had,
yes,
all the shit going on.
Because it had to be. If it wasn't, no one would care. It had to be perfect. There was no computer touch-ups. Oh, let's fix that in post.
There was a scene when Jesus' face was painted over.
Yes.
Oh, you're fucking wrong. I win.
One special effect. You got me. Okay, let's watch Avengers now. And count out how many scenes there are people in a real room. They had to build, everything had to be perfect because you couldn't really touch it up in post. You know? Those extras needed to be dressed correctly, acting correctly, because if one dude's looking at the camera doing this, and it's on film. So like, bro, you just ruined like $1,000.
It's like Back to the Future.
Yeah.
With 3 where the kid's pointing at his dick.
And it's like, you just ruined everything.
Anyway,
Sorry.
Back to what we were talking about. No, I really did. The whole cinematography during the chariot race and everything was just awesome.
Beautiful film.
And like I said, you could actually tell that it wasn't green screened on some of those shots.
Yeah, it's just them in front of like the matte paintings and everything.
And I like how every Legionnaire was just some dude. You know, there was no like, oh, black guy with one eye, badass chick with one tit, Asian guy, what's he doing here? Who knows? You know, it was just Italians. You know, I liked that.
What old Hollywood was just Italians.
Just Italians. I liked that. Yeah. God, this movie, as an Italian, and I know, are either of you Italian?
Yes.
No, but you're not. You have black hair. You're not Italian.
I'm Fitty.
No. Are you Italian, Andrew?
No, I'm 100% Polish.
What are you gonna do? Sink a submarine with a screen door? Sorry.
Get to your point.
What I'm saying is, as an Italian American, as a majority, I'm like 80% Italian. as specifically an Italian American, because I didn't grow up in Rome and I didn't grow up around the Colosseum and stuff like that, when I see movies like this, I go, my people, I get the most unwarranted sense of pride.
So you get it in this movie, and most other Italians get it in like Scarface and shit.
Oh, I hate the mafia. I watch like Ben-Hur or fucking Spartacus, and I'm like, my people, I fucking hate like Casino and Godfather and all
They're
that
not
shit.
bad movies.
But they're
So,
not.
so I found an article. They actually did have to train Charlton Heston too on how to drive the chariot. That's crazy.
Hard. I bet it's a lot more legwork than you think.
No, you wrap the rope around your hands all.
Right, but you have to brace yourself with your legs and kind of do the
And lean in. You probably have to lean into the turns too.
You're pulling one way, trying to control the rope on that.
Right. But I'm saying, like, sure, you're doing all this upper deck stuff. What are your feet doing? Yeah, exactly. I bet it's a fuck ton of legwork of just trying to not fall.
Shooting at the chariot race took 5 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like almost a year.
And get this. To follow the horses closely, cameras were placed on top of Italian cars.
Just have like a fucking Alfa Romeo gunning it with like a guy on the back. Whipping it around corner. Because they got some.
I just love how they had to specify in this article that it was on top of Italian cars.
It was either a Fiat, an Alfa Romeo, or a Peugeot.
No, yeah, the turning scenes were stressful.
With the way the horses would take the turn and then the chariot would drift and you could see the actor being like, "Oh God, like, what is this?"
Yeah, you don't train actors to chariot race anymore.
Dude, what about Marius? What did he do to his chariot?
Oh yeah, he put the fucking
the spikes.
And they just fucking remember the first wheel he hits, it just caves in on itself.
Dude, he had a fucking gnarly death.
Yeah. Oh, thank God it was a dummy, because if that was real, like the horses behind him were just trying.
And you know what? I want to add something to that because, like, how many movies have we seen, like, let's say through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, where like you're gashed open or something and it looks fake as fuck?
Yeah,
when they showed him with like the skin peeling off, that looked real. Even though I know it wasn't real, but they just did such a phenomenal job with that.
What about the sunburns with the slaves on their backs where it was like purple and blistering?
Yeah.
That looked real as fuck. The makeup, like I said, except for the guy
with the arm ripped off.
The dude with the missing hand, that was definitely just an amputee that they built a fake thing and it just looked perfect. The only dude's makeup who was fucked up was the guy in blackface. But everyone else, literally every other piece of makeup was perfect.
Yeah.
Even the guy in blackface was like, if I was in the 50s watching it, I'd be like, that's a black guy, but with modern context, I'm like, that's a white dude in blackface. You know what I mean? Like 50s Chris probably hasn't seen all the black dudes. Straight up, I grew up in the suburbs. My dad's a cop. How many black dudes do you think I've seen?
Yeah.
6. Maybe.
Anyway. Overall, I feel like you really need to like this type of movie to watch this.
It's not this type of movie. You just have to like movies.
Yeah.
You can't just sit down and watch this casually. This is a film you have to like sit down and be like, I'm in for something good. I'm in for a story. You need to cook popcorn at the interlude, right? Like you watch, you sip your brandy, you watch the opening act, then the interlude kicks in and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a piss, make some pop. Then you come back and you watch the second half and you eat your popcorn and you drink a little more brandy and it's fucking awesome. It's a great little film. Not little. Great, huge film.
This film, I would definitely classify this film as an epic.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, hands
easily.
Lawrence, Argonauts.
The only type of epics we get now are like the Marvel movies where it's.
But they're not epic though.
I wouldn't call them an epic.
They're epic in terms of time length. Wasn't the last Marvel big Avengers film like 3 hours long?
Yeah, it was awesome.
No, it wasn't.
That's because you're a douche.
Dude, remember when those gray aliens fought those gray guys and then all the women did that thing? Remember when Spider-Man went, I'm dying, Mr. Stark?
That was sad, dude. That was sick. His spider sense kicked in. He's like, shit.
Hey, there's 2 ways to elicit an emotional response from an audience. 3 ways. You kill a child, you kill a dog, or you kill a love interest.
Or you kill Spider-Man.
Right. Oh, they're killing a child. but he's just a boy. T'Challa disappeared like that. Spider-Man got a 5-minute, like, it hurts. You know, like, come on.
Because his spider sense was fucking freaking out. Anyway, watch this movie. Just fucking do it.
Watch it.
And then you can say,
Yeah, set aside some time.
But all I have to say is,
Dude, this
You
movie
need to have like 4 hours set
this
aside.
movie plays on TCM every Easter. Watch it on TCM.
what I gotta say is, thanks for showing us Ben-Hur. Now I know never to watch this movie ever again.
I find that incredibly insulting.